I'm not speaking right now. This voice was generated by AI, and it's only one of the really cool things you can do in my favorite audio and video editing software. But there's more. Descript is a super powerful platform that lets you edit through Transcript, automatically remove filler words, easily clip highlights for social posts, and clean up audio in one click. Anyone can figure it out, and it makes production possible when you're short on time. This video will show you how Descript AI tools make video editing super easy. So I'm in a new project window in Descript. And while the main point of this video is to show you some of the really great Descript AI features that you can use to make your video and audio production fast and efficient and possible to get done, I want to show you some quick settings that people either don't notice or take for granted. So first, go over to your Descript menu, go to File, click Project Settings. And you'll see there's three things here. So optimize computer storage. Now, one of the great things about Descript, especially if you're working with video files, which tend to be much larger, is you get to use their cloud storage. So you don't need to keep all of the raw video footage on your own computer, taking up your storage space once you've already uploaded it to a project. I've accessed Descript projects 12 months after I've made them and still been able to download the original files from their cloud to revisit some parts I may have clipped out or wanted to modify in a different way to repurpose content. That's incredibly powerful if you're working on a laptop or don't pay for any type of external storage or cloud service like a Dropbox or Google Drive account. Because Descript works with files on the cloud, you can also render videos really quickly using the publish option, way faster than an export. The next thing you'll see here is perform automatic leveling on clips. They do this whether you're importing a file or recording right within Descript, and it's very fast. If you're recording within Descript, you'll see it right away. Now, leveling is something you could do with an audio interface or an app like Audacity, but this gives you a no-nonsense, done-for-you solution. So if you've been procrastinating on starting a podcast or a video channel or whatever it is that would involve audio or video editing, and one of your reasons is that, well, you're not an audio engineer, Descript is going to take you leaps and bounds. And not just with this feature, but with so many of the other ones we're going to see in just this short video walkthrough. The next project setting is add room tone to new gap clips. So say, for example, you're making a video where you talk about 10 bullet points, and between each bullet point, you actually want to show an animated slide. And while you're recording, you speak too fast, and you kind of roll from point 1 into point 2. You can very easily add a gap clip. That way your slide transition has some time to breathe, and listeners will know that you're talking about a completely distinct topic now, or a completely distinct point. And this additional setting in here means that by default, they'll add a room tone. So if you've ever listened to a video where you can tell when someone makes an edit, the static and background noise of the audio while they're speaking drops off completely and it's completely silent, that means they've added a gap without a room tone, and you're hearing absolute silence during those moments. You can leave this toggled on, and you can also select to turn it on and off at each individual gap clip as you're adding them. I'll show you how to do that with this basic project settings. Now, these are defaults. You can turn them on and off if you'd like. Now, when you start a new project in Descript, you can either start recording, start writing, start with a template, which they have a new and improved gallery with a ton of great things, including titles, captions, things that they used to kind of lack what other video editors provided as far as video elements and animated visuals. But I actually think their new template collection is really robust and I like it better. I used to use Wondershare Filmora. I think this is a lot more interesting. You can see that it's really easy if you do things like lyric videos where you want to highlight words as they're being sung in a song. They have highlighted animated captions. You could choose different intro slides if you don't already have your own intro. If you need to create a quick slide while you're editing your video, you can do that here. One of my favorite features is if you're working with a podcast where you have multiple guests, or maybe you want to split up the video of you talking and reacting to a different video, you can use these templates here to drop videos into a nice looking view. Audiograms are great if you want to take a clip from something you've edited to create a social promotional post. And then they haven't really built out their vertical templates yet, but because of how popular they are, I think this will be the template folder we see growing the most in the next few weeks. And last but not least, they have some animated visual cues you can add really easily. This is really helpful because I used to go and grab arrows from Canva and place them in, but this makes it a lot more streamlined. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be uploading a file to add to my project. So I'm going to choose my file. It's a video I just got done recording with Zoom where I go over some research on the accuracy of Google Analytics direct traffic attributions. So you can see it's starting to transcribe. Now, that's one of the most critical AI features in Descript is the AI transcription. I know a lot of people pay for separate transcription services, like Otter AI is a big one, and maybe they have their perks and benefits, but this platform does it for me. And not only am I able to get a transcript while I'm editing, you can actually edit your audio and video by using the transcript. And 2 years ago already, this is what sold me on Descript. It was incredibly powerful and innovative back then when it first came out. And even though they've added a ton of new video production features and interface improvements, and they've really optimized performance, it's been kind of its mainstay feature since as long as I've known about it. Now, in this video, I know I'm only one speaker, but you can make it try to detect more, and I know it's going to be me, Kat Wagner with brand hacking. It's not necessary to add your title, but I wanted to show that you can do this. And then you can choose your default language. And then you'll see here that it's preparing. It's already popping up. We've got my face frozen over here. Gotta love it. It looks like I'm saying, okay, very nice. And look, so now my transcript is popping up over here. And right now you can see where I'm stuttering and I'm restarting and all this kind of mess that, we'd have to sift through if we were editing by video. We'd have to find these pauses in the timeline by looking for gaps in sound levels. So we'd look for things like this if we wanted to edit by audio and video. We would know that something was going on here where I paused and I'd want to edit that out. However, I can just look at the transcript and I can say, hey, this is where I know I actually started. I can highlight all this text of where I first tried to get started and just delete it. And it's cut out from my video and audio. Now, one thing I do like to do as a best practice is double check down here. And I might want to expand this a little bit just so that way I have some kind of free space to go back and add an intro or make sure that my initial facial expressions included. So then we can just press the play button here. Spark Truro and Really Good Data just collaborated on a study where they sent. So it starts clean. I'm going to keep my edit there, but I can see I'm pausing here. Now there's two things we can do. I can zoom in on my video. So there's two things I can do. I can either pick an area here. You want to move your little timeline marker, right click and hit split clip. You can also use the S hotkey. And then you see how it lets me work from left to right. I can go to either end of where I made this split in the track. And if I hover over it, you'll notice a new cursor pop up. And you can click and hover, you see the highlighted side. And if I drag inward, I can trim some of the timing. I can also drag outward to expand and extend the clip. So for here, I'm going to trim some of that dead space, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now we've trimmed some dead space, so I won't have a weird pause there. It can be a good idea, especially if you're new at this, to play it and make sure you did a clean cut. You sent trackable traffic to a site that was getting no other traffic. So look, I'm messing up there. Okay, right? So I want to cut this pause again. We'll move our cursor there. But this is a good reminder, guys, when you're seeing these videos on YouTube and you compare how you feel like you sound in a raw recording to what you see other people publish on YouTube, and you keep feeling like you're stumbling or you're messing up, so does everybody else. It's actually really hard work to be a public speaker. People sit and practice and I always think of it like in the game The Sims. If you've ever played The Sims and you're trying to level up your charisma skill, you would have your Sim stand in front of the mirror for like hours and sometimes days. The game was funny like that. But there's an element of truth there, right? If you've given up on the idea of recording for yourself or putting your face in your own brand, I started doing this for other brands. I wasn't in the videos. The first time I had to host a call as the substitute host on the fly without knowing, I think I sweat buckets the whole time I was doing it. But then after I was done editing it, I was like, oh, that was really fine. But public speaking is a lot of work. There's a lot of prep work and practice and prompts that help during live engagements. And when you're watching something edited, you can't compare that to what you think you sound or look like while you're doing a raw recording. You're seeing in real time on my screen right now what this is going to look like before I have it polished and published. But we'll do the same thing here. We've made a split and we'll hover over and we can drag that closed. Now, if you just want to do a transition, or maybe you start saying a word really loudly or your microphone flares up all of a sudden and you want to just make it fade in, if you hover rather instead of at the split marker, but on this little white dot that appears, and you click and drag that, so it'll look like this. traffic. So you saw how it faded in, and you can drag that to make the transition longer if you like. So you saw that faded in a little bit slower. Look at my gap. It's so funny. Look at me go. But I don't need a fade here, so I can drag it to get rid of it. You can also crossfade if you take the marker and drag it in the other direction. So start on the right side, drag it to the left, and then you can create an equal crossfade on both sides. And then if you click on the white dot, you can fine tune some of the settings. So you can change the duration by entering the actual seconds you want the duration to last for. And you can also toggle from crossfade to fade right here. If you highlight the clip by clicking on it and then go over to this toolbar here, scroll down to where it says clips, show clips. This is the clip we're working on. You can see it's highlighted. You can play with some of the settings like the clip duration, audio, or the clip speed here. But there are other ways you can remove gaps between words where you're not saying anything. Now, if you're making a video that's meant to have silence, you might not want to use this feature. But if you are making a video that's primarily you speaking and you want to reduce the time that you pause throughout the whole video, you can do that in one sweep with Descript's next AI tool that I love. So while you're looking at your script panel over here, click this little starry sparkle icon and click Shorten Word Gaps. Very quickly it populates a toolbar. It's titled Search Results, and it shows you the exact duration. So that's 2.3 seconds, 6.0 seconds, 18.8 seconds. And you can go through these one by one. If you click them, it'll take you to the actual clip. So if you want to play it and hear it before you just decide to cut something, you can. If you're pretty confident that, anything that's longer than 4 seconds of silence, it's a long time, like count that out. That's like 4 seconds. That's a long time to be taking a pause, but use your discretion. And once you're familiar with your own way of speaking and your own way of recording videos, you'll learn a good threshold of what's a safe duration of time to shorten to. But you can actually do bulk editing with this tool, and it's extremely powerful. I used it all the time when I did videos for other people. I usually cut out things that are like longer than 1.5 seconds. I usually cut out things that are longer than like 2.5 seconds. But before I do that, I want to show you the impact that this has. The total track duration is like 1 hour right now. But let's see what happens when it shortens these gaps. So click the Apply to All button. It's very fast. This is an hour-long video, and we're at 40 minutes. We're at 40 minutes and 25 seconds. So this is an incredibly powerful AI feature that would have wasted so much time with manual work to go through. And if you ever find an area where something was trimmed and you actually didn't want it to be trimmed, remember you can just hover over it, get that cursor, and then just drag to expand it. Simple as that. So there's no need to worry about loss of file or content. You can always restore it. The next feature is sort of similar to what we just saw. Like where we were just removing dead space, this feature is going to allow us to remove wasted space. Now, depending on if you're on the free version or one of the paid plans, you may not be able to toggle all of the options in this tool, but you can still use the basics of this tool. If we click back onto the starry menu icon and go to remove filler words, you'll see a bunch populate over here. But before you do anything, you'll want to take a look at the options over here. First, you have the option to remove media, which means it's going to clip out that entire clip, meaning video and audio. Or if you select replace with gap clip, you can cut out that audio but leave some seconds rolling of video. You can also insert a gap clip anywhere you want for any reason. If you just choose a timeline marker where you want to insert one, right click in the timeline and then hit insert gap clip. You'll see it inserts this gap clip here. By default, it's going to be 1 second long, which you can shrink by holding and toggling. Or if you clear this search results tab, you can use the toolbar to go down to your clip section and find your gap clip there. You can click to it to navigate it if you get lost. You can enter the duration here, and you can toggle that room tone off. It'll be grayed out when it's off, and then on if you want it on. Now, let's say you insert this gap clip and now there's no video playing here. You can either drag and drop an image that you want to throw in here from a folder on your computer, or you can navigate up to your top toolbar to this media button and then go over to images to find an image to insert. You can upload your own files. You can add GIFs, which is really awesome. But another thing you could do, especially if you're showing a PowerPoint slide, is hover over the track right before it, click a frame that you want to freeze frame, right click over the script itself, click Add Freeze Frame, and it's initially going to insert it in the track here, but if you click and hold it and drag it up, you can drop it right here into its own track layer. So now this freeze frame will cover for the whole duration of everything covered in the blue here. So let's say I just wanted to cover that gap clip, which is this 1 second duration here. I can drag it, and then I wouldn't freeze frame my face like this for no reason, because it's going to look awkward in video. But if it was, you know, an image or a slideshow or a line of text, this is a really great strategy to utilize gap clips when you need to for the sake of audio without having a black screen. So let me know if there's something you'd like me to talk about. And then I don't actually need that there. So I'm going to delete the gap clip, I'm going to delete my freeze frame, and we're going to continue moving. And remember, the gap clip feature is something it's a standalone tool. It's a standalone feature, but it's kind of intimately integrated with both the shorten word gaps and the remove filler words tool. So let's go back to looking at the remove filler words. Now with filler words, I think most of the time you can remove them without it sounding weird or unnatural, but sometimes people stutter really close together. So if people say, you know, that might be, there's a good pause between the you know, and where the next phrase, that might be, starts. You can clean cut that out, but sometimes removing filler words can cut into important meaning. So you do want to be cognizant of how your speakers typically speak. If you're recording yourself, how you typically speak. If you know you roll certain filler words into meaningful words, it's probably best not to cut those out automatically, maybe visit them manually. But you can still improve your user's experience by cleaning up your transcript to remove filler words. So whether you actually want to remove the audio and video portions, or you just want to remove the audio and fill it with a gap clip, or you just want to correct the transcript, you can use this toolbar to do any of those three things. Now that you have a basic idea of what the tool can do, my steps for using it are, once I click into remove filler words and I'm on the window and I have my search results here, I can get a preview of, it's a lot of repeated words. Come click over to this search type toggle bar. Where you see this search bar, it starts by saying and Uhs and ums are included with the Descript free plan. If you don't need a pro plan for any of the other reasons, but you still want to remove the main filler words, which in my opinion are and you can take advantage of this powerful AI tool. However, there are other filler words that are available on Pro. So if I toggle this, you can see them here, but I'll be honest, I don't always want to remove them all. Sometimes, you know what I mean, isn't a filler word. Sometimes it's like a wink, wink, if you know what I mean. You see can be a filler word, like you see, comma, and then you start saying what's actually meaningful. Whether or not the you see is included or not doesn't change the meaning of the rest of the sentence. But sometimes the phrase you see can be consequential. So if I'm discussing data and I have two charts and I say, what do you see when you look at chart A? That might edit to say, what do when you look at chart A? Like, so some of these aren't that necessary. The free version is really powerful. And I know personally, I have a bit of Valley Girl issue going on. I say like in a way that rolls into other words. And those are the ones I'm going to automatically remove. I'm comfortable doing that. Again, this is all up to your own discretion. I don't want gap clips. Remember, as I speed through this, listening to it, I can always expand a clip if I catch an awkward break and want to replace it. If I remove all these gap words, it deletes 23 selections, and we're down to 39 minutes. Now, it would take way longer to do that manually, clip by clip and word by word, without this transcript and without these powerful AI tools. Under the star sparkly menu, there's also an AI tool to detect transcription errors. It's currently free for everybody, but only during the beta version. And what it'll do is it'll kind of pull out words that the AI knows it wasn't exactly sure on. So a lot of times proper nouns and brand names come up this way. I'm pretty sure they also have a list on the back end of commonly confused homophone words. So for example, right here on the first line, Sparkturo is not Sparkturo, but it's registering it as a proper noun of some kind. It knows to capitalize it as a phrase, but really it's Spark with no space, Toro, Toro. So not sure if it'll detect that. And I don't use this feature all that much. I actually think the detecting transcription errors is still pretty slow, and I don't think it's worth my time. I can correct the transcript as I go. But this is what it would look like. Now let's take a look at how powerful this edit by script tool is. Now, I already told you the Sparkturo thing is wrong. If I just come and select it, and I don't want to edit how I'm saying it in the video or anything, if you highlight what you want to fix, this toolbar will pop up and there's all these different things you can do, but if you want to use correct, the hotkey for that is the letter C on your keyboard, or you can just click correct, and a little text window is going to pop up. That's really how I want it to look. Now, if you want to correct a one-off word, you can stay like that. If you have a lot of text you want to correct, you can click this to enter correct text mode. And that means you don't need to wait for that window to pop up. You can work right on this text line, and nothing you do will affect the audio or video. It'll just affect the transcript. And really good data is a proper noun too. I understand why they didn't understand that was a proper noun, but I can capitalize each of these, make it look proper. And then this isn't a sentence. So I want to delete this period. And I love that they automatically lowercase the following word once I got rid of the period punctuation. And I would do this all the way through if I wanted to. I usually edit the transcript as I'm listening to it and editing the audio at the same time. But it's a great way to go and say you know that your name is spelled wrong all the time. Click the search function or hit Control F. Go to this search type toggle. And then switch it to text. And then let's look for every iteration of the word spark. Look at all these things on the toolbar that popped up. 17 times spark was said, and I've corrected the first one, but there's 16 other times where spark turo's not right. And they usually have a space. They spell it a few different ways, so unfortunately I have to do this 3 different times. It looks like there's several different variations. So I could either do this one by navigating with these arrows to switch to the next result, or I can add to my search term, and anytime that there's something spelled as spark turo, there's 3 of these. I can type in this toolbar, hit apply all, and it'll fix all 3 of those iterations. I'll change my search query back down to spark with the T to see what else is remaining. We'll do the OUR variation, correct that. That'll fix 2 iterations. Now, this is mostly for user experience, and I'm going to show you a cool way that we can make our transcription stand out as fancy text for emphasis. So obviously, if you want to highlight and use a power punch for certain phrases, you don't want them to be spelled wrong, right? But additionally, your transcript can be really important for SEO purposes. Not only do I want to have it right out of respect for them and for the users reading it, but having it spelled correctly and accurately can help people that are searching for content about Spark Turo to see and learn. And then we'll check one last time for the word spark with no word after it. And they all look nice and clean. So having the script at your disposal for the audio and video editing is so powerful because you can filter by word gaps, you can filter by filler words, you can search the script for specific words, and then you see Descript makes it really easy to efficiently navigate if you want to do the work manually, or if you want to do bulk actions to remove or modify or correct things. It's just extremely powerful stuff. Now, what if you come across something that you get so jarbled or you forgot to say and you really need to have it in there? There's 2 things you can do. First, go to where you need to add something, maybe for me it's right at the beginning, and hit this record button and you can record right here and now. You can choose if you want to use audio only, you can choose if you want to do a picture within a picture, if you want it to be just your full camera screen, and you can toggle the correct microphones you want to use, and if you wanted to transcribe it right away. Now, when you record something, hey, I'm recording a test intro to show this. You see how fast it populates it? It's already transcribed. You can see I'm talking. And I didn't have my camera on, but you can always add a quick background over here on your scene toolbar. Toggle the background, choose a random color. Since it's an intro, I can hit this text button, and I can just write whatever, welcome. And I'm not going to play around with that now and waste your time, but Descript makes it really easy to fix those uh-ohs. So I'm going to undo that because I don't actually need it. If you want to delete this text thing, just click the text track, then right-click it, and then hit delete. You can also cut and paste it anywhere you want if you just want to move it. But then the other tool, and this is such a cool tool, because you don't need to use it just for corrections. You can use it to create AI-generated content where you don't even need to record your voice. You can type what you want the script to be, and then choose an overdub voice from one of their templates, or create an overdub voice of your own using your voice to create actual spoken words. So say, for example, I wanted to add an intro, and I love it because it's a great way to sound like you have a voiceover, a voice actor doing an intro for your shows or a specific piece of content. I would go to the beginning of my clip or wherever I wanted to add it. I would hover over here and go to write. I'm just going to say, hey, welcome to my video. And then you'll notice the text is in blue and it has a different speaker above it than my name. And there's no audio actually recorded here yet. You can see that on the track, on the script track, it just says T for text. Well, if you click speaker and then you click stock voices, or if you want to create your own, you can use new voice. Go to stock voices and we're going to use Ethan. And then you'll see it generated audio. Now, sometimes there's weird spacing or a punctuation can make the AI accentuate certain words with a weird inflection. So you do want to play around with commas and periods sometimes to get the wording right. But this is what it would sound like.
Hey, welcome to my video.
Spark churro and really good data. Now, something else you should know is, everything's in one track here. This is our script, our audio, and our video. But if you ever wanted to edit the parts of a track, right-click, hit edit sequence, and then you'll see that it's divided into, it's titled as a video, but this is your video track, and this is your audio track. So rather than removing media or using a gap clip, if you ever just wanted to cut out a cough, and you don't care if your video's in there or whatever, or maybe there's like a construction, I have construction going on next to me, so maybe there's a big blaring horn that goes by. I could go and find that in the script and say it's just to pretend it's the spike here. I could just split the clip here and then shrink it to remove that clip. And you see how it preserves the audio spacing? What that means is that the audio and the video will still be synced. But I think I said an important word there, so I'm going to undo that. And then you can just click done. Now, for example, let's say I'm all done with my editing. I want to add my video intro. I can just drag and drop it right in front of my track here. You'll wait for that little indicator to show up, and then you're safe to drop it. Oops, I added it as a new track. So if you just click it and then drag it in front of the content you want it to appear in. You can also go to other projects. This is actually the old interface. And you can copy, if you want to copy an intro from somewhere else, you can just right-click on it, copy it, go back to the project you were working on, and you can either click the script to paste it where you want. If you want to paste it over so that way it's playing at the same time as something, you would just click where you want it to start, right-click, and hit paste. And you'll see that it starts right at that timestamp, right at that word I selected, and you can move it a little bit if you need to, fine-tune it. And I don't need this intro because this video is not going to be about this, but it's just for example. If you want to click like a really good quote from later on in your episode and bring it to the beginning, you can go and copy it on your timeline and then bring it back to the beginning and paste it here. And most importantly, if you want it to be inserted into the script track rather than overlapping it as a separate track, hit the add scene and then paste it. And you'll see that it is part of the script track. And then I don't actually need it, so I'm going to delete that. And then probably the most important AI tool of all for people that are worried about how they're going to sound, or they don't have a good recording space, or they're worried that they don't know how to sound like a good audio engineer, is the Studio Sound feature. Now, click anywhere into your script track, go over to this audio button. You'll see it already gives you, an indicator of your volume. This is where you can also mute a track if you want. But you want to click this audio effects. Go to audio repair. You can do some more specific modifications here. Go to audio repair, hit studio sound, and it's going to apply it to the entire track. So even though we have all of these clips here chopped up, it's going to repair the quality consistently without you having to go back and apply these changes to each individual clip. And it's really, really powerful stuff. I live in a windy and stormy coastal area, and they're building an entire apartment complex like 50 feet away from me. And this feature has saved me not just from hours and hours and hours of trying to make my voice sound better, trying to make my audio sound okay, but it saved me from just giving up and not recording and publishing at all. It's invaluable. And once the studio sound editing is complete, if you're clicked into the track, you can scroll down to where it says studio sounds. You can click this toggle to reduce the intensity, and this will give us an opportunity to give us a before and after. I don't know how well it'll translate because I'll be recording this from a microphone through my desktop speakers. But don't forget, you can try it yourself for free. Go to the link in the description or the pinned comment. You can grab Descript and try Studio Sound for free using a recording of your own in whatever environment you want to try. You can give Studio Sound a go. But I'm going to play a small clip with the different intensities. Currently, in real life, as I'm recording this contemporaneously, there is a loud air conditioner rattling outside my window and construction trucks beeping. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them. I usually don't hear them in the background of my videos. So first we're going to play... I'll try to use the same clip. Spark Churro and Really Good Data just collaborated on a study where they sent trackable traffic to a site that was getting no Spark Churro and Really Good Data just collaborated on a study where they sent trackable traffic to a site that was getting no Spark Churro and Really Good Data just collaborated on a study where they sent trackable traffic to a site that was getting no Spark Turo and Really Good Data just collaborated on a study where they sent trackable traffic to a site that was getting no. It's a crazy feature. If I left it at the original, I could hear my environmental background noises, and it sounds echoey and flat, and who knows. But the studio sound sounds like I'm recording in an area that doesn't have an apartment complex being built 50 feet away, or an air conditioner motor that sounds like it's going to kick the bucket. Incredibly powerful tool. And again, jump in that link to try not just Studio Sound, but Descript for free, but really give Studio Sound a try for yourself. If you think your room or microphone are not good enough for you to start recording your content with, you need to go give Studio Sound a try, because it could be the thing that finally lights your fire. Okay, and I'm going to be honest, guys, there are so many features in Descript. I love it. Now, Descript is an invaluable tool for me, and though this video seemed long when I'm not recording to demonstrate an example walkthrough, I can turn the playback speed in Descript anywhere from 1.5 to 2 to 3 times speed and really knock an hour-long video out of the park in what feels like faster than the duration of the raw video itself. If you were to just try to transcribe something manually, it would take you on average 3 times the audio hours of the raw audio itself to get it done. And that's not even including doing any video editing or overlays or being able to export a project or clips of a project in multiple ways in bulk. And that's not including any audio engineering or sound engineering. If you want to try Descript for free, use the link in my description and my pinned comment. I've recommended this software to people long before I had a YouTube channel, and all the Descript AI tools that I talked about in this video get rid of all the sucky parts of podcast and video editing. So I know there's 99 reasons out there why podcast and video editing are too hard to get started, or too hard to keep up with, or too hard to manage, especially if you're an independent creator or someone trying to start a new project while working a full-time job. Descript makes it possible. So jump to my link in the description and the pinned comment, try it for free, and get your first video edited fast and efficiently. As soon as you do it, it will become muscle memory for you, and you'll feel like a content machine. But that's it for now. If you found this helpful, let YouTube know. Give it a like or a share. And if you want to learn more from me about what I do to get a lot done with limited bandwidth, make sure you subscribe. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and happy brand hacking.